put it out there, you say, oh, there's a problem, we must have a solution, which is the vaccine. And of course, you then find that the patents for the vaccine were applied for before the virus was put out, and people started to get the consequences of it. It's quite obviously a blatant scam, and through the mainstream media that doesn't connect these dots, which are there to be connected to anyone with a brain cell on active duty, the vast majority of the public go along with it. But what's really encouraging at this point where I speak is the number of people who are saying no to this, and their backbones need to stay stiff when the pressure comes on more and more to accept it, to say no and keep saying no, because this vaccination program is a key fundamental brick, plank, whatever you want to call it, within this whole agenda. And if we can throw a spanner in the works of this and have vast numbers of people refuse the vaccine, it actually throws a spanner in the works of so much more that is due to come along afterwards. People have asked me over the years, you know, what's planned? And I've said, read two books, George Orwell's 1984 and Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. The latter was published in 1932, Orwell's book was in 1948. Because these two had access to the agenda through something called the Fabian Society, they weren't writing from imagination. They had an understanding of where this was supposed to go. And in Brave New World, you have Aldous Huxley describing a society in which children are disconnected from their parents, where they're bred in laboratories, and where drugs are used to get the children to, and as they become adults, the whole population, to love their servitude and not rebel against it. And we are now seeing quite blatantly the movement to remove children from their parents. It's been done through what I call the totalitarian tiptoe, step by step by step by step, where more and more parental rights are taken by the state, more and more and more, and where the school becomes ever more powerful in the control it has over the children. And now we're moving into areas that we have, staggeringly extreme as they may seem, they're no longer rare. This is commonplace. Where in Britain, and I know from the research I've done for the book I'm writing at the moment, it's happening in America and elsewhere, where the authorities are taking children away from their families for the most extraordinary reasons. I'll give you an example, and like I say, this is not rare. We had a case in Britain recently where these parents spent £38,000 on fertility treatment to have a child. When the child was born, soon after the child came home from the hospital, a social worker came round, and the mother just joked that giving birth had ruined her figure. On the basis of that, the child was taken away. And we're seeing extraordinary examples of the so-called justification for taking children and the state taking control of them. And what then happens, and happens in this case, is the social services say to them, okay, we're taking your child away, we're going to give it to foster parents of our choice. Now you have a choice. You can either accept this, in which case you might see your children on, you know, access time here and there, or you can challenge this decision, in which case you'll never see your children again. And the decisions are then made in secret family courts, which are not allowed to be reported by the media, where a single judge is making the decisions. And, you know, if you describe this society to people a few years ago, you'd say, you've got to be talking about China, mate, ain't you? No, this is America, this is Britain, this is Europe, this is the so-called civilized world that it's happening in. And it's not the end of it, it's just the latest step in the tiptoe towards total state control of children. And that's what they want. And we either put a line in the sand now or regret it not too far in the future. What's being targeted is anything that holds people together. So the family unit is something that keeps people together. I'm not religious. I'm not into religion at all. But also religious structures are being targeted because they hold people together. What they want to do is break down all units that are in any way keeping people in some kind of organization, in some kind of mutual support system, because they want the state to be the total arbiter and dictator of human life, and therefore any structure that is a problem to that, they want to bring down. You see, if you have a family unit, then within that unit there can be diversity of the way children and the family see the world. This family unit, if they're together, there can be diversity in the way they see the world. And all these different diverse units of family create exactly that, diversity. What any dictatorship wants, no matter what it is uniformity. It doesn't want diversity of view, diversity of the way people see the world and see each other and all the rest of it. They want uniformity. You look at Soviet Union. What was it? It was a centralized dictatorship that took away all diversity. You look at any fascist dictatorship, centralized control, take away diversity. So any unit of mutual support, or whatever you want to call it, that offers the opportunity for diversity of debate, diversity of view, they want rid of, because they want the central point in the tyranny to dictate the version of life and self that everybody has. You know, it's always the case that tyrannies want uniformity. Look around the world. All diversity is being removed. And even the built environment, you go around the world now, you will go into these cities in previously diverse cultures, and if you didn't know, you could look out the hotel